Hello everyone, this is Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, check out the notes section below, spread the word on Twitter, and just check me out at the end of the month at the Zimbabwe Bitcoin conference. I got the URL wrong yesterday, so I have to correct it first thing now, blockchainsummerschool.com. So I'm going to go to Mozambique soon and then come back to Zimbabwe for the conference. I want to bring up something about Monero, that the great poster on my comment section, and you guys should always check out the comment section and post. B. Costa has told me this, and we have great posters here. Again, thank you guys. I always read the comments. Last week, there were a lot of people that got busted on the dark markets because of blockchain analysis and talk that Bitcoin tumblers are useless. And he brought this up because I was asking, well, why did the Monero price go up mysteriously? And this may be part of it. I didn't hear about this crackdown, but if there really was a crackdown on the dark markets and people got caught using Bitcoin there, well, then your next step is like, well, if I really need to use my dark markets, I got to use something else. So Monero would be an option, and there'd be a real demand for Monero there. And then speculators would hear about this and say, oh, well, this is a time to buy in. So perhaps this is why the Monero price is now over 0.01 BTC again, and maybe why we should be bullish about Monero. If they keep on tracking down Bitcoin drug purchases or whatever purchases, then people will move to Monero. And that, again, reminds me of what Tone Vays said the other day, how he said that if drugs became legal in the United States, which they're not going to become, how there'd be no need for Bitcoin again. And then I thought to myself, well, would there still, if drugs became legal in the United States, and by the way, I disagree with that strongly, there still would be a need for Bitcoin, but if drugs became legal in the United States, theoretically, would there still be a need for Monero? And yeah, there still would be a need. There still would be a need there'd be dark markets for other things. There are always going to be dark markets. That's one thing to remember. But another thing is when, Tone says these very bold statements sometimes, and I think sometimes they make great points, but within a bold statement, there's always overlooked niche areas, niche markets that we don't fully understand in different countries. I mean, how can I understand what's going on in Nigeria right now? I've never been to Nigeria. They're having some financial problems that I do not fully understand. And they need to buy things we don't need. They need cash that we don't need. So there's all these niche markets here. So when you say something about Bitcoin that maybe pertains to Africa, if X is solved, then Africa doesn't need it anymore. Well, we don't even know what's going on in that. Again, every country is a different market, and has different government regulations and different laws, and within every town, within every person, there's different desires. So we have this incredible new technology, Bitcoin, blockchain, whatever you want to call it. And people just now, it's just the tip of the iceberg, people are saying, oh, I can use it for X, I can use it for Y. And it's just solving problems we don't even understand or know about. So we're just at the beginning. And another thing that is hitting me really hard lately, be it on this channel, be it people I contact, there's a lack, and there's nothing wrong with this, there's a lack of a basic understanding of Bitcoin. People have sort of heard of it, a lot of people haven't heard of it, and a lot of us on this channel, including me, we're so used to talking about it on this complex level, talking about altcoins, talking about just anonymous things, and just all sorts of complexities and technical aspects of it. Go to the Bitcoin channel, and that's really advanced. That we've lost this connection with the most basic levels of Bitcoin, and I almost have a hard time explaining it to people who just want a basic, simple explanation of it. And we can't lose track of that what we're going to have to do most of the time is not talk about altcoins and trezors and more complex things. We're just going to have to talk about the very basics of Bitcoin. What is it, and what it is, and to maybe send them to some great sites. I mean, Bitcoin.com has a very good explanation video on it, and I'm going to have to use that video a lot more often, but some people don't really get that video either. So there's a lot of patience involved, and that I think that's a good thing, that so many people have no idea about it and really, really need a basic explanation. But there's work to be done. After I made my video yesterday talking about how there's a steep slope once you start doing things with the government, saying that the Electoral College is useless and bribing people, that you might end up with a military dictatorship. I right after I did that, I found an article on Vox that almost says exactly what I was saying. So I'll link to that article. And finally, I wanted to say something about democracy yesterday. The United States is not a democracy. It is a constitutional republic, and people have to remember this. And I am not a government dude at all, but this still has to be pointed out. We don't want people to be ignorant, saying, "Oh, this is democracy." Democracy is not a good thing. The founding fathers did not think it was a good thing. Doug Casey calls it mob rule with a suit on, and that is what democracy is. It goes down the toilet and becomes mob rule. And that is not, I don't want the mob ordering me what to do. Now, I don't like government at all, but a constitutional republic, the way they built the United States, is a much better option than living under democracy, where you could, in theory, get every single solitary person to vote in the worst parts of Los Angeles, Baltimore, New York, Chicago, Houston, and they could vote in someone and to become a dictator, perhaps, or whatever, to order everyone to pay insane taxes in the rest of the country to support them. I know, just theoretical, but I'm just saying why there is no democracy in the United States and why it is mob rule. And hey, just get in. Don't worry about governments. Get into Bitcoin. You're ruling yourself and controlling your own money, and you don't have to worry about people in Chicago ordering you to give them your money, steal your money from you. I'm Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister. I'll talk to you later.